I'm so grateful you've chosen to rest with me tonight. I've already lit an incense stick for you. Its gentle smoke rises slowly in the stillness. Please turn off autoplay and set a sleep timer if you can. Then settle deeply into your pillows. Let yourself sink down into the softness. Tonight's story is called The Valentine Letter in the Old Temple. It takes place on a snowy evening in Seoul. An old monk climbs the wooden stairs to the temple library. He finds a letter from his youth, tied with a faded red ribbon. But first, let's breathe together for just a moment. Close your eyes now, gently. Bring your attention softly to your breathing. Breathe in slowly through your nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath gently, 2, 3. And breathe out slowly, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let everything go with that breath. One more time, breathing in, 2, 3, 4. One more time, breathing in. Now, let me take you to the story, to that quiet temple library on a winter evening. Picture, if you will, an old temple in the mountains near Seoul. Its traditional roof is heavy with fresh snow. The sky above is that soft shade of gray. That comes just as evening settles in. Inside the temple, a fire burns low in the meditation hall. An old monk stands at the bottom of wooden stairs. He looks up slowly toward the library door above. His name is Master Chen, though names matter little now. His hands are weathered and kind from years of prayer. His eyes are gentle with the wisdom of many seasons. He reaches for the smooth wooden rail beside him. He begins to climb, one step at a time, in no hurry. Each wooden step creaks softly under his weight. A familiar sound, like an old friend greeting him. The air grows cooler as he climbs higher. Away from the warmth of the fire below, he can smell the scent of old paper and incense, of things long stored away, nearly forgotten. Through a small window on the landing, he glimpses the snow. The snow is falling steadily, peacefully outside, covering the temple garden in soft white. The flakes tap gently against the glass window, a soft and rhythmic sound that soothes. Tap, 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 like a meditation bell. At the top of the stairs, he pauses for a moment. His hand rests gently on the library door. The wood is cold to the touch beneath his palm. He can feel the draft seeping through from the other side. Gentle wind whispering outside. He slides the door open slowly, carefully. It glides with a soft whisper along its track. The library spreads before him, dim and peaceful, filled with shadows and the shapes of old wisdom. Wooden shelves line the walls, reaching upward, holding scrolls and books from generations past. A single window at the far end lets in gray evening light. Beneath that window sits a meditation cushion, worn smooth from years of use, waiting. The old monk steps inside quietly. His footsteps are soft on the wooden floor. He moves slowly between the shelves, trailing his fingers along the dusty edges. He knows what he's looking for tonight. He's known since he began climbing those stairs, there in the corner near the window. A small wooden box with brass corners. Its surface is covered with a layer of dust. He kneels down slowly beside the box. His knees creak gently, just like the stairs did. He brushes the dust away with gentle hands. The box isn't locked. It never has been. The lid opens with a soft, quiet sound. Inside, layers of old papers rest together. Photographs with colors faded by time. Pressed flowers, brittle now as butterfly wings. And there, right on top of everything, a bundle of letters tied together with a ribbon that was once bright red. Now the ribbon is faded to a soft rose color. Like the last light of a sunset sky, his hands tremble just slightly as he lifts the bundle. He feels the weight of the years in his palm. The paper is yellowed and fragile with age. The edges are soft as cloth from being handled. He can smell the old paper, that particular scent. The scent of age and memory, sweet and dusty. The handwriting on the top envelope is delicate, written in faded ink that was once deep blue. He knows that handwriting well, so very well, perhaps even better than he knows his own. He carries the letter slowly to the window, to the meditation cushion that waits there, moving carefully as though carrying something precious. And it is precious, these words from so long ago. He sits down gently on the worn cushion. From his robe, he takes out a small box of matches and a candle he brought with him for this moment. He strikes the match carefully, mindfully. The smell rises briefly in the air, then fades. The candle wick catches, and a flame springs to life. From his robe, he takes out a small box of matches and a candle he brought with him for this moment. He strikes the match carefully, mindfully. The smell rises briefly in the air, then fades. The candle wick catches, and a flame springs to life. A warm golden flame dancing and flickering. He sets the candle on the windowsill beside him. Its light fills this small corner with warmth. The flame reflects in the window glass like a star. He can feel the warmth on his weathered face, on his hands chasing away the chill. Now, with gentle and reverent fingers, he begins to untie the faded red ribbon. The ribbon slides free with a soft whisper. The letters separate slightly, still nestled together. He sets the ribbon aside with care, smoothing it gently with his thumb, feeling its softness. There are perhaps a dozen letters in this bundle, but he knows which one he wants to read tonight. The top one, the first one ever written, the one that started everything, all those years ago. He lifts it gently and sees the date in the corner. Nearly 50 years past now, 5 decades gone. Valentine's Day, written in a time so long ago, when the world was different and he was young, before he took his vows and became a monk, when his heart was full of hope and wonder, and the particular joy of being newly in love. He slides his finger under the envelope flap, carefully so as not to tear the fragile paper. Inside, a single sheet folded in thirds. The creases are worn soft from being opened before, from being read many times over the years. He unfolds it slowly, taking his time. The paper crackles softly like the candle flame. And there are the words written in that delicate hand. The ink is faded but still readable in the candlelight. He holds the letter closer to the warm flame, letting the golden light wash over the words. Outside, the snow continues its gentle tapping. He unfolds it slowly, taking his time. The paper crackles softly like the candle flame. And there are the words written in that delicate hand. The ink is faded, but still readable in the candlelight. He holds the letter closer to the warm flame, letting the golden light wash over the words. Outside, the snow continues its gentle tapping, patient and endless, like time itself. The old monk begins to read very softly, his voice barely a whisper in the quiet library. My dearest, the letter begins with tenderness. His voice is soft with memory as he speaks. I'm writing to you on this Valentine's evening. While the snow falls outside my window in Seoul, he pauses, looking up at his own window, at the snow still falling there too, just as it did then. The same snow, the same Seoul, separated by time. I wonder if you're watching the same snow from your window across the city tonight. I wonder if you're thinking of me, as I am thinking of you with every breath I take. The words are simple, so beautifully simple, but they carry the weight of young love, tender and true and filled with hope. He reads slowly, giving each word its space, its moment to bloom in the quiet air. Do you remember, the letter continues gently, our walk last week through the palace gardens? How the snow was fresh and untouched, and we left our footprints side by side. He remembers, oh, he remembers so clearly, as though it were yesterday instead of decades. The crunch of snow beneath their boots, the cold air that made their breath visible like clouds, her hand in his, warm even through their gloves, her laughter bright as temple bells in winter. You said the world looked covered in rice powder, and I laughed at your sweet words. But you were right, it did look magical, like something from an old fairy tale. He pauses in his reading for a moment, listening to the snow against the window, That gentle, persistent tapping sound. The candle flame flickers slightly in a draft, casting moving shadows on the wooden walls. He can feel the cold air from the window, on his left cheek, sharp and clean, and the warmth of the candle on his right. The contrast is pleasant, grounding him, connecting this moment to that moment long ago. He looks down at the letter again, at the next lines waiting to be read. His eyes soften with deep affection. "I have pressed a flower for you," the letter says. Between these pages, a small gift, and there it is, flattened and brittle with age. A small cherry blossom, delicate and precious. Its pink color faded now to pale brown. He touches it with one careful fingertip, so gently, afraid it might crumble to dust. But it holds together, delicate but whole. A small miracle preserved through all these years. I picked it from the garden this morning. When the frost was still white on the grass, it made me think of you immediately. Small and perfect and brave, blooming even in the cold of winter. His throat tightened slightly with emotion. But it's not sadness, not really, not quite. It's something softer than sadness, sweeter. Like honey mixed with gentle rain. It's the feeling of having been loved truly, and having loved in return, completely. He continues reading, his voice a whisper, barely louder than the snow on the window. "I wanted to tell you something important, something I've been too shy to say aloud. But writing it feels safer somehow, as though the paper can hold my courage for me." The old monk smiled gently, remembering how young they both were then, how everything felt so enormous and important, how a few words could shake the entire world, could change everything in a single moment, could make the heart race like drums. "I think I love you," the letter says clearly. The words are slightly larger, pressed harder. "No, I don't think it. I know it now. I love you with all my heart. This Valentine's Day and always, forever." The old monk stops reading for a moment. He closes his eyes, the letter resting in his lap. The candle flame continues to dance beside him, casting its warm glow over his weathered face. Outside, the snow falls and falls endlessly, covering everything in pure white silence. He can hear it tapping, that gentle rhythm, and the soft whisper of wind around the temple. Inside, the library is silent except for these sounds, peaceful and still, like a held breath. He thinks of her as she was then, so young, bright-eyed and beautiful, cheeks pink with cold, and he thinks of her as she was later too. Before he chose this path, this monk's life. He opens his eyes again slowly. He looks at the letter, at the final lines, the words that change everything for them both. "Meet me tomorrow by the old cherry tree, at 2 o'clock when the sun is highest. I'll be wearing my red scarf, so you'll see me. And if you feel the same as I do, if your heart speaks the same words as mine, bring me a single white flower, just one. And I'll know, and we'll know together. And everything will begin from there." He did bring the flower, he remembers clearly. He picked it that very morning, hands shaking with hope and fear and love. And she was waiting by the cherry tree, her red scarf bright against the white snow, her smile even brighter, like the sun itself. But life took a different path than expected. After some years together, he chose the temple, chose this life of peace and meditation, shaking with hope and fear and love. And she was waiting by the cherry tree, her red scarf bright against the white snow, her smile even brighter, like the sun itself. But life took a different path than expected. After some years together, he chose the temple, chose this life of peace and meditation. And she understood, as she always understood. She supported his choice with grace and love. The old monk folds the letter carefully now, slowly along its original creases, with reverence. The paper is so soft in his weathered hands. He slips it back into its envelope gently. He holds it against his chest for just a moment. The candle flame flickers beside him steadily. He watches it dance, mesmerized by its movement. The warmth reaches his face, his folded hands. a small comfort in the cool library air. Outside, the snow continues falling without end, each flake unique and beautiful and brief. Here for just a moment before it melts away. Just like moments themselves, he thinks peacefully, each one precious, each one gone so quickly. Before we quite grasp what we've been given, but the memory remains, softened by time, sweetened by distance, held close like this letter. He places the letter back on top of the bundle, arranging them neatly, tenderly, with care. The ribbon lies beside them on his lap. He picks it up, running it through his fingers, like water flowing, like time passing. It's still soft despite its age, still whole, still holding the memory of being tied and untied. Again and again over the years, he wraps it around the letters once more, tying it in a simple bow, not too tight, just enough to hold them together safely. The bundle sits in his lap, and he rests both hands, feeling its slight weight, its precious presence. The candle beside him burns steadily on, its wax slowly melting, forming small rivers. And the snow outside taps and taps gently against the window, patient and endless. A lullaby without words, soft and soothing. He lifts his gaze to the window now, watching the snow fall through the gray light. Each flake drifts down in its own pattern, spiraling, floating, taking its time to descend. Some catch on the window frame and cling there, building up slowly into a small white drift. The garden below is transformed completely, all sharp edges softened into gentle curves. He can see the old cherry tree in the distance, barely visible through the falling snow now, its branches heavy and white with winter's gift. The same tree where she waited that Valentine's Day, where their story truly began in hope, and where it changed when he chose this path. The old monk sits very still now, just watching, just breathing, just being present. In this quiet moment that asks nothing of him, there's nowhere else he needs to be tonight. Nothing else that requires his attention now. Only this simple presence, this being here. The candle flame, the falling snow outside, the letters in his lap, the memories in his heart. He feels the cold air from the window, fresh and clean, smelling of snow and pine. He feels the warmth of the candle on his hands, golden and steady, a small beacon of light. The contrast between cold and warm feels good. Between then and now, between memory and presence, all of it blending together peacefully, all of it part of the same long story. His eyes grow heavier as he watches the snow. The rhythm of it is hypnotic, deeply soothing. Each flake that taps against the window seems to whisper softly, "Rest now, rest, let go of everything, be at peace." The candle flame blurs slightly as his eyelids droop, becoming a soft halo of golden light. His breathing slows and deepens naturally, matching the gentle rhythm of the falling snow, matching the patient wind outside the temple. The letters rest safely in his lap still, his hands resting upon them, protective and gentle. And in this moment, past and present blur. They seem to become one single endless moment. A moment of love remembered with gratitude, of peace found in the simple act of remembering. The library around him fades into background. The shadows grow deeper, softer, less defined. Only the small circle of candlelight remains clear, a warm island in the gathering darkness. The snow continues to fall outside steadily, endless and patient, as it has always fallen, as it will continue to fall in winters to come. But for now, in this present moment, the old monk sits by the window at peace, surrounded by memory, held by stillness. The letters in his lap are more than paper, more than ink and pressed flowers and ribbon. They are proof that love existed, that it was real, that two young people once walked through snow together, and though they chose different paths eventually, the love remained, transformed but not diminished. Changed form, became memory, became gratitude, became this peaceful moment by the window. Years of practice and meditation followed, years of mornings in quiet contemplation, of evenings chanting prayers in the temple hall, of challenges faced and overcome with patience, of quiet moments of simple contentment found, a life fully lived, fully given to practice. The old monk's lips curve into a gentle smile. As he sits there in the candlelight, his eyes closed now, peaceful and still watching the snow behind his eyelids. He can see her there in his mind's eye, young again, wearing her red scarf brightly, smiling at him with understanding and love, understanding his choice, supporting his path. And he can see her as she was later too, older but no less beautiful in his memory. The candle burns lower now beside him, its flame still steady, still casting warmth. The wax pools at its base, soft and warm, slowly cooling at its edges into white. Outside, the snow falls heavier now, it seems. The flakes larger, drifting down like feathers from some great celestial bird above. The tapping on the window grows softer somehow, more distant, as though coming from far away. The old monk's breathing is slow and deep, his chest rising and falling like gentle waves. Like the tide of the ocean, ancient and rhythmic. His hands rest on the letters peacefully. His face is peaceful, free from worry, free from sorrow, free from regret entirely. Just peace, just memory, just gratitude, just love that has changed form over time. Candlelight flickering gently. The library is growing colder as evening deepens. But the old monk doesn't notice anymore. Lost in his peaceful reverie, his meditation. The candle beside him flickers once, twice, its flame dancing as though moved by breath. But there is no breeze inside this room, only the steady cold draft from the window, the whisper of winter seeping through. The flame steadies again, burning faithfully on. Constant, just like the memories it illuminates, the pressed cherry blossom in the letter, the faded red ribbon holding everything together, the careful handwriting on the yellowed page. All of these things speak of care given, of attention paid, of time taken, of someone saying clearly, "You matter to me." And isn't that what love is in the end? Simply the act of saying and showing clearly, "You matter, you are seen, you are cherished." The snow outside is building up now, on the windowsill creating a small barrier. Between inside and out, between warm and cold, the flakes that land there don't melt at all. The air is too cold now for that. They simply gather one upon another, building something together, creating beauty. Something that didn't exist before this moment. Each one necessary, each one contributing. Like days in a life, the old monk thinks, each one adding to the whole, to the story, creating the complete picture over time. Some days dramatic and memorable, others quiet, but all of them necessary for the journey, all of them part of the sacred path. He thinks of all the Valentine's days since then. 50 of them now, each one different. Some spent alone in deep meditation, others in quiet prayer in the temple hall, all of them threaded with gratitude and peace. For the love he knew, for the love he gave, for the path he chose, for the life he built. The old monk shifts slightly on his cushion, settling deeper into the worn fabric. The letters slide just a bit in his lap, but his hands gently catch them, keeping them safe, keeping them close as he always has. The candle flame wavers again softly, its light painting moving pictures on the walls, shadow and light dancing together, darkness and illumination both necessary. The dance of existence itself, he thinks, played out in miniature here beside him. He thinks of her voice, what he remembers most, the particular music of her voice, so sweet, the way she said his name with affection, the way she laughed freely and fully, the way she hummed old Korean songs softly, filling the air with gentle, unconscious melodies. All of these sounds are gone now from this world. They exist only in memory now, only in the quiet chambers of his heart. But the letters remain, her handwriting remains. These silent words that still carry her voice. If he listens closely, very closely, he can hear her reading these words even now, can feel her presence in each careful letter. The library seems to hold its breath, Around him, as though listening to, as though bearing witness to this moment. All the forgotten scrolls stored here, each one with its own story, its own wisdom, but not forgotten, not really, not truly, because here they are, still existing, still holding their teachings, waiting patiently, like this bundle of letters in his lap, stored away but never truly abandoned, always knowing they would be found again, always knowing that on some quiet evening, some snowy Valentine's night like this one, they would be needed, they would bring comfort, to remind, to soothe, to bring peace, to prove that what was real remains real. Even when it's gone, even when transformed. Love doesn't end just because circumstances change. It simply transforms, becomes memory, becomes story, becomes gratitude, becomes peace. The old monk understands this deeply now, has come to understand it over the decades, through years of practice and meditation, that she is not truly gone from his life, not while he remembers, not while he holds these letters, not while he carries her in his heart always. She exists in every Valentine's Day that comes, in every snowfall, in every cherry blossom of spring. She exists in the way he walks mindfully, in the way he pours tea with care, in 1,000 small habits learned from knowing her. She exists in this moment, here in this library, as real as the candle flame beside him, as present as the falling snow outside. And he is grateful, so deeply grateful always, for all of it, for every moment they shared, for the love that was given and received. Grief and gratitude, he has learned over time, are not opposites but companions walking together. Two sides of the same precious coin of life. The candle beside him is burning lower now, nearly half gone, its flame still steady, but smaller now, more gentle in its glow. The pool of wax around its base has grown, soft and warm, slowly cooling at the edges. The old monk watches it for a long moment. This small light in the gathering darkness. This brief warmth against the winter cold. Isn't everything like this candle, he wonders, burning brightly for a time, giving warmth, giving light to others, then slowly fading. But the memory of the light remains always, even after the candle is gone completely, even in the darkness that follows after. The warmth it gave still matters, still counts. The light it cast still illuminated the way, still revealed beauty, still mattered deeply. Just as a life, however long or short, matters, leaves its mark on the world, changes things in small or large ways. He thinks of the letter written so long ago, by someone young and hopeful and brave, someone who didn't know yet what would come, what joys and sorrows waited in the years ahead, but someone who chose to reach out anyway, to take the risk to say I love you aloud, into the unknown future with courage. And because of that choice, that small act, everything else became possible for them both. A connection became possible, love grew, understanding deepened over time together. All from a letter, a pressed cherry blossom, a ribbon, the color of valentines and hearts. The old monk's fingers tightened gently on the bundle. Holding it close, this evidence of grace, of risk rewarded, of courage honored. Outside the window, the snow is falling more gently. The flakes are smaller now, drifting lazily. The gray evening is deepening toward night, though it's hard to tell exactly when. One becomes the other. It's also gradual. This transition, like so many things in life, barely noticeable until you look back and see how much has changed over time. The garden below is fully dark now, just shapes of white on darker ground, the world simplified to shadow and snow. The old cherry tree is barely visible, just a darker shape against the darkness. Patient and enduring as it has always been. The old monk takes a deep, slow breath, feeling the cold air fill his lungs completely, sharp and clean and clarifying, awakening. He lets it out slowly, watching his breath form a small cloud in the cold library air, visible in the soft candlelight beside him. His body is stiff from sitting so long, but he doesn't mind, doesn't feel urgency, doesn't feel the need to move just yet. There's something sacred about this moment, something holy in the silence and the snow, and the memories that live in this space, something that asks to be honored simply. By being present, by sitting still, by witnessing, witness to a love that existed, to a choice that was made with clarity, to a story that unfolded over many decades, a story that isn't quite finished yet. Because here he is, still part of it, still living it, still holding the letters, still remembering with love and gratitude. He looks down at the bundle one more time. At the faded ribbon, the yellowed envelopes. Each letter in this bundle is a moment preserved, a window into the past, a voice speaking. Across time, across distance, across change. And when he's gone, he wonders peacefully. What will become of these letters then? Who will read them? Will anyone care at all? But then he realizes gently, it doesn't matter. Not really, because they've already served their purpose. They were written, they were received with joy, they were read and cherished and kept safe. And that's enough, that's always enough. The giving and receiving of love between two hearts, whether anyone else ever knows about it or not. Love is its own reward, its own reason for being. Needs no witness but the two hearts that share it. The old monk allows himself one more long look at the words, "I love you," written on that page. Then he carefully places the bundle down, on the windowsill beside the candle gently, propping it against the frame with care. The letters rest there, safe and still, held between the candle's warmth and window's cold, between light and darkness, past and present, between remembering and letting go peacefully. He settles back on his cushion, hands empty now, resting in his lap, open and relaxed. The candle flame continues to flicker beside him, faithful to the end, giving its light freely, until it has nothing left to give at all. And the snow outside continues to fall, silent and endless, covering everything. In white, making the world new again, making everything clean and pure and peaceful. In the quiet of the library, time slows down, seems to stretch out, to become something else, something other than time, beyond time entirely. The old monk's breathing grows slower still, deeper, his chest rising and falling gently, like the tide of the ocean, ancient and eternal. His face in the candlelight is completely peaceful. The lines and wrinkles on his skin speak of years well lived, of practice honored, of loving and being loved, of being fully human. The letters beside him seem to glow softly, in the candlelight, as though holding their own light, their own warmth that doesn't fade with time. And the old monk sits in perfect peace, breathing softly as the snow falls, and the candle burns, and the candle burns, and the night embraces everything in gentle silence.